They let me pick. Did I ever tell you that? Choose whichever Spartan I wanted. You know me. I did my research.
Hello to the land of yesterday from a guy in tomorrow. My name is Ghost, and today we're going to be doing something that you are probably already familiar with, but this is going to be a little bit new for me, as this will be the first time that I actually try this sort of format here. Today we're going to be discussing a webcomic series on Webtoons, a story by the name of Down to Earth. It is listed as a romance story. Here's the general gist of it. Cade lives his average life alone and undisturbed until a cute alien girl crashes in his backyard! Exclamation point. By opening up his home, will the otherworldly girl inadvertently open up his heart? So, the general theme for this series will be to kind of follow up and give you guys a general breakdown of the first 10 episodes of, or they're technically chapters, I call them episodes because, you know, it's force of habit watching all the animes. Anyway, my editor has already kind of put a gun to the back of my head and has told me that I spend way too much time talking, so I've got my phone next to me here to help lap myself and keep myself aware of the current time. So, the name of the game, we're going to go through first 10 episodes. There's no actual chapters or descriptions to each of the chapters, so I've actually created my own titles, if you will, for each of the episodes, give you some general highlights from each of them, then we'll go into general kind of synopsis, if you will, of how the first 10 episodes, or 10 to 20 or 20 to 30 have gone, and then kind of highlights or favorites / worst of the series. So with that, we have burned a whopping minute and 44 seconds. We're going to hit the lap button and we are off into Down to Earth, or DTF, with each of the characters, and off we go. So episode 1, Woe is Kyle. Kyle he actually goes by the name of Cade, is the main male protagonist, if you will, for this series. We kind of basically spend the entire first episode getting to know more about him, in the sense that his life sucks, he lives alone in some trailer park, and we first meet his soon-to-be ex, as he basically shoves her off and basically is like, yeah, you're just another one for me. I don't need you. And, you know, of course she gets all, you know, uppity about it. And he goes back to his trailer park, and then the story starts. We then kind of, there's like a giant crash in the backyard of his trailer, and he goes down and explores, and up, lo and behold, a giant floating space girl shows up, Pog, which leads us right into episode 2, Lap. Space Waifu Delivery System. We meet Zeta, who is the space girl that landed in his backyard. Zeta is from Zoidia, or it's basically Earth, but it's not Earth because space magic wumbo jumbo. There is one thing in this chapter which I won't tell you, but I want you guys to try and figure out where there's a physics bug in chapter 2 that I want you guys to try and figure out. One thing that I have written here, thank God she's cute. And I think the reason I wrote this while I was going through and just kind of reviewing most of the chapters was because, you know, imagine, right, you're just minding your own damn business, going back to your trailer park, deep in the woods, wherever you live, and, you know, a giant ship crashes, and the first thing that comes out of the spaceship isn't some cute neon green haired short stack of a girl, but it's actually like this giant evil tentacle monster. So I think the romance tag would have turned into a bit of an action / sci-fi had our little space girl not been nearly as adorable. Which leads us into episode 3, which is it's cute because she's foreign, or as I really like to say, she's so foreign, which is basically just your stereotypical trope of a foreign girl doesn't know, cultural customs of the area or cultural norms because she's from space. She is quite classically just kind of your very your very klutzy space girl. She's again drawn in a very attractive manner, which is fantastic. Always great for easy bait. One thing that I've given a comment here is there's a quote, you might be mistaken for a cosplayer, and I thought that was actually really interesting because as we go later into the series, and again, to help kind of shamelessly plug myself here, we do live read the series on the Twitch/YouTube channel, so if you're interested, go ahead and take a look. I think we've like lapped ourselves quite a few times already here, so we're now on episode 4, which is title for episode 4 that I have here is there's a third rule in this romance comic ? And the reason for that was because we were given 2 rules, which is contribute and trust, which, you know, okay, cool, great. And then this is kind of the beginning, if you will, which kind of is, this is like the first yellow card we get from the series, which is the subtle sexualization of the space girl, or Zeta. And the reason I say it like this is because there's this kind of slow progressive overarching theme between our boy Kyle here and Zeta as he begins to kind of slowly notice subtle things about that match her and his former ex, which from basically episodes 5 to 8 really kind of show Kyle's true colors and really make me not like this guy. But getting back to episode 4, so sexualization of the space girl, again we had the contribute, trust, and then the third rule, which was meant to be broken, which is no feelings. And again, this is really weird because when you kind of pull yourself out of the comic and you're just again ignoring the fact that apparently the FBI aren't going to try and kick down your door tomorrow, ignoring the fact that, you know, thank God she's not like an authoritarian dictatorship like Hive Child, where, you know, the only real way to settle disputes is, you know, through blood trials or anything like that. She's incredibly sexualized by our boy here, and we don't even know how old she is. Like, I mean, the assumption is that, you know, of course she's legal, but like we really don't know, and it's not like even in the first 10 episodes we find this out, and it's kind of it gets a little bit sus. It really does get a little bit sus, and you know, it kind of weird. But anyways, let's hit the lap button here as we move into episode 5, which is the classic "Let's leave the foreigner home alone. What could possibly go wrong?" Episode 5, Kyle goes off to work and basically tries to ask her to help out, again, contribute. But we actually see in the very beginning, Kyle goes to bed, wakes up at 8 a.m. and he hears like some rumbling noise. And it's like, okay, no big deal, whatever. It's probably just the cat. Well, he like lashes out. And I'm going to use the word lash out here because again, we don't look at a character when they're interacting with other characters, because, you know, it could be a fake, right? But how the character interacts with other animals, or, you know, things that can't interact with him, or how they handle themselves when no one's looking, can really kind of tell you the type of character we're going to see. What is Kyle's first response when it's like 8 in the morning and he's kind of sleepy and there's, you know, a space girl in his bedroom? He freaks out on his cat that may or may not be like making noise, and turns out it was actually the space girl. Whoopsies, just, you know, screaming at the space girl. And so that kind of begins I would say the harsh 5 through 8 arc of the series. But he also makes the comment that money will be tight now that he has to feed 2 people, which is laughable at best because of future events. And that brings us on to episode 6. Jesus, I'm running out of time here. Episode 6. Oh yeah, so Kyle works at like Hot Topic or something like that, or something of the nature. Episode 6 is labeled "The Story Begins" because we actually Zeta, while Kyle is, you know, dealing with co-workers at Hot Topic, Zeta finds the well, it's a toss-up right now because we don't actually know what's inside it, but there's a pretty good guess that we can make. It's either the kink box or it's the previous ex's photos, and Zeta is basically finds it and kind of teases and blue balls the audience for basically the rest of the episode or the rest of the chapter, as we don't actually get to look inside. We do finally get the introduction to Manager Dude Bro, who's pretty chill. His job is to try and get Kyle to be a bit more, conversational, and which, for all things considered, is a pretty tall order, since you're dealing with the most unlikable character that we have met so far in the entire series, and he's supposed to be the main protagonist. Moving on to episode 7, Ravioli, Ravioli, don't loot the space loli. Zeta struggles to feed the cat because that was her one task, which Kyle had instructed her to do, and frankly, what a surprise, she can't do that because she doesn't know how to feed Cosmo. Cosmo is a cat, she pulls the food bag out, and it's like these little, cat pieces of cat food. The girl doesn't know what a cat is, and the girl doesn't know how to feed cat. It feels kind of like, again, it's just classical, like, oh, it's so funny because she's foreign, but it's like, yeah, we knew that was going to happen kind of deal. This is, again, the beginning of the weird sexualization of Zeta, or Kyle sexualizing Zeta, as a customer comes into Hot Topic and buys a very, all things considered, it's a very beautiful nightgown for a woman that is aware of what she's buying. Kyle looks at that and goes, what if they have it in large? And then begins to basically fantasize about our space girl here. And again, we don't know anything about her besides that she's a really, she's a really cute space girl. It's just, it went from a yellow to a red, Chief. Why are you doing this to a, we don't know her. We don't really know anything about her, and it's really kind of weird. Again, more supporting Kyle here, as he's talking to the girl that's gonna buy this very beautiful nightgown, and he notices that she has tapers. I had to look up the word because I wasn't quite sure if that was the right word. But essentially, instead of having gauges in your ear, they kind of look like nails, that they're gauges, but they're nails. So it's just a different style. And apparently, the guy who also has gauges, this is his number one pet peeve, which I feel like you're kind of, you're really trying to pick your fights here when you work at Hot Topic and you're trying to, like, BM girls that are buying, like, angelic nightwear in a Hot Topic store. Anyways, so again, episode 7 is also the beginning of the fight in episode 8, which we'll talk about here in a second. But there's also this one thing, and I'll probably show it on screen here shortly. There's the beginning of the I've noticed the artist, what they like to do is, when a character is turning to say goodbye, normally, if you're looking at someone and you're waving goodbye, you'd probably just turn your whole body and then give a quick wave, or just like a look over your shoulder and like a wave kind of thing. There's this thing where the artist likes to, the legs of the character will still be like walking away, or they'll be in view, and you got this real nice, just a real tight shot of the ass. But then the body is like half turned sideways to wave away, and it's just, if you have a chance, get up and try and do it, like look at something that you're gonna wave behind and then just turn like that. It just feels weird, and it's again, it's something that I'll try and kind of keep note of as we go through here, because it's something just I've really noticed. Anyways, episode 8, this is labeled Assault and Fan Service, as this is the beginning, or I guess the real start of the fight, as Kyle in episode 7 has just had a really bad day. He just, God, it sucks working in customer service, but it really sucks working in customer service when you don't have many social skills, which is a very realistic and relatable thing. I get that. But we get into the power and creep vibes, as Zeta, after telling Kyle that she pretty much just nuked his Xbox, PlayStation 7, he snaps. He rolls up to a ball and he kind of freaks out and he has a bit of a moment, but then Zeta tries to reassure him, as a normal, nice person, space girl would do. And he snaps. He seriously grabs her by the hand and then goes into this power move thing of, he kind of pushes her, he doesn't push her, but he moves himself and her against the counter. And there's this like weird, no matter how you really read it, he says this line of like, I am a man, and like starts to like inch in on her. It's just like, oh dude, it's just weird. It's just weird. It's so freaking, I don't like it. It's kind of weird because as we're sitting here trying to deal with this, we kind of realize that Zeta is, well, the good thing is Zeta stands up for herself, which is fantastic. But again, there's this weird dynamic of she's standing up for herself, but then like not even 5 or 6 panels later, she kind of like reverts back into this immature child complex as, again, we have the assault, and then we go into a reader's whiplash, and whiplash meaning basically we went from one kind of general theme in the episode into a whole different one. This happens a lot, and this is something that I do critique whenever we are reading True Beauty, which is another series that we are reading for the live stream, where you're just, again, we're in the middle of a fight in episode 8, and then next thing you know, you just get like hammered over the head as like, oh no, fight's okay. And by the way, here's our cute little space girl in an angel nightgown. It's like, what? Are we just not going to talk about how he like pushed her against the countertop and like, try to come on her? Like, dude, what? So it's, episode 8 was for me personally the worst of the 10 episodes, just because of the feeling and the vibe that came off of it. Hitting the lap button here as we hit 1507. This is Earthling 101, and frankly, this is where I really wish I would have seen much earlier in the series, instead of maybe having 6, 7, or 8 even exist, because frankly, this is where I would almost say that we actually get to see some the two characters begin to develop. The characters begin to talk and interact with each other in a very, organic and natural way. It feels very healthy. The two are actually kind of experiencing and interacting with each other in a very, healthy and safe way. We also get the fun little gag about the cursed space food, which I'm fairly confident is a Breath of the Wild gag. One thing that I will give credit where credit's due for Poke-senpai's art/drawing, there's a lot of kind of subtle hints and kind of nods at real world things, kind of like an anime when they have, like, instead of McDonald's, it's like Wackdonald's or something, like the M is just upside down so they don't get sued. She does a great job at actually doing that with like Slipknot and Twisted Sisters and a few other kind of, well-known, I guess, American pop culture things, and making it kind of subtle. It is really good, all things considered. But moving on to the final episode, episode 10, which frankly was a giant burn episode. It wasted time and it threw me through such a freaking loop. Episode 10, Thick Thighs Save Lives, as we get a very forced love scene. We get the first meme of the series, a physical, actual meme. Kyle's woes about his ex, and the entire episode was more or less wasted as they started off talking about like Monopoly or something like that, and Zeta kind of, again, reminds Kyle that she can't read English. Okay, cool, whatever, just do the head touching thing, and Zeta mentions that, and he goes, no, we watch TV now, and it's just like, wait, why don't we let's just do the head thing and then just save everyone like 20 extra episodes of miscommunication and conversation. Let's just do that and save everyone time. That won't come up and just burn another couple episodes, will it? Anyways, so that is episodes 1 through 10. I am trying to speed read as quickly as I can because frankly there's so much to talk about, and there's so much I really want to unpack about these, but so yeah, episode 1 through 10, that was just the general highlights of it. Frankly, I feel like there could have been a much more fun and it could have been a bit more organic, I would say. Down to Earth, one of the biggest reasons that I actually started reading the series was because, at least on Webtoons, the main art, if you will, for a lot of this series it's very realistic. It's very, real, and it's very almost cartoonish in the sense that the lines are very firm. You know where everything is. Down to Earth has a lot more relaxed. It's very colorful. The characters seem a lot more approachable, if you will, in the sense that you can read them and you don't feel, too pulled out. But for the first 10 episodes, we get basically, woe is Kyle, Space Girl arrives, thank God she's cute and foreign. Episode 4, rules don't matter when, it's a romance series. Let's leave the Space Girl alone, nothing can possibly go wrong. Episode 6, we finally actually get a bit of story. Episode 7, don't leave the Space Girl. Episode 8, episode 8 was terrible. I really did not like episode 8. The sexual assault and fan service. Earthlings 101 for episode 9, and then of course episode 10, thick thighs save lives, as we get that really forced scene. Again, I say it's really forced because, like, you know, basically it's one of the cliche, like, they're watching TV and then one of them falls asleep on the other. Wow, so original. But, like, seriously, we have a girl that literally does not understand the concept of a couch, right? You could, I mean, go as weird and finite as that. It would have been fantastic if it was something like Kyle's just minding his own business, sitting on the couch, and then Zeta comes over and floats above the couch because she's just used to floating. You know, she floats. This is Space Girl. It's what she do. And it would have been great if it was one of those, like, you know, Kyle extends his hand, is like, hey, you know, come here and sit. You know, try and sit like an Earthling or a person. And in doing so, he ends up inadvertently pulling her down and then next to him. So it's not like it's a super duper, like, oh my god, they're like, you know, he pulled her into him. It's just like a very casual, like, oh, we've spent a lot of time around each other now and they're comfortable. There's a clear sign that they're relaxed around each other to the point where he can interact with her, physically interact with her, and sit her next to him, and there's no, like, weird vibe. It doesn't feel uncomfortable for either character. It would have just been a great kind of organic and subtle way to pull into the romance, because obviously at the end of the series they're going to be, you know, face smacking, and or there's going to be weird space babies or something like that, some heresy, right? But you gotta ease me into that hot bath soup, because if I'm gonna go from an ice cube into a hot bath, I'm gonna get reader's whiplash. And again, going from, you know, 5, 6, 7, and 8, I did not feel like there was that comfort. I didn't feel that ease as these two characters started to interact with each other. So that is everything for today, ladies and gentlemen. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you guys have any additional series that you would like to read. As of course, we have True Beauty and Down to Earth as our Saturday and Sunday series that we are reading. There are 2 others that I have recently started, but we're going to be saving those purely for the stream. So with that, I hope you guys have a good day, good afternoon, good night. I'll see you all later, and thank you for your time. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye. There we go, 21 minutes and 27 seconds, probably with a few extra seconds for the editing of the burps out.
The Emperor has abandoned us! Form up, men! There's work to be done!
We are the harbingers of death.
They will not escape our holy fire.
Our strength fails us!
We'll show these filthy aliens what Imperial Guard are made of! Charge!